Hey, you guys, welcome to the Truckers Lounge. My name is Eugene, and I wanted to discuss real quickly about a developing story dealing in transportation. Now, if you guys can recall back in November, my co host and I, Priest, we discussed how the United States Postal Service were um, basically on the verge of bankruptcy. And as a result, the Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, wanted to come up with ways to figure out how could we save money. So this is around 2020, 2021. And one of the ways that they came up to, one of the ideas that they came up with to save money was to not renew postal contracts to outside carriers, and they take on that freight themselves. So the processing centers, instead of contracting those out to outside sources, they would do them themselves. All of the mail that they were running from processing center to from one location to the next, they would do that themselves, which meant they would have to pretty much incur more liability by buying more trucks, buying more trailers, hiring more staff. You know, you have drivers and everything, pretty much leasing or buying processing centers. But as a result, they would pretty much save a lot of money because they're doing it in house now. And so, what this did, it caused a lot of trucking companies to go out of business because a lot of those trucking companies either had the majority or at least all of their business, 100% of their business was hauling mail for the United States Postal Service. And businesses who had been in business for decades ended up calling it quits, which I know that was pretty hard for them because a lot of those companies had though at 70 years that they've been hauling mail, 50 years that they had been hauling mail exclusively. And so I know they had to be heartbreaking for those companies. Uh, Now the US Postal Service is shifting also to air freight. Air freight is the next one on the list to start losing contracts or having their contracts cut in half and reduced. And the company that's pretty much that's happening to right now is FedEx. FedEx said that they were well, not losing, they were doing about $2 billion in revenue with the Postal Service, and they are probably estimated on losing maybe 50% is what a spokesperson, what someone said with FedEx, and they are looking maybe around October to see if whether or not they're going to either renew or if they're going to end up just reducing the amount of business that they're doing with the Postal Service. But as a result, whether they lose that portion of their business or they significantly reduce it, they're going to have to reduce staff. And from the numbers that we had seen, maybe about 200 to 300 pilots that they have in excess that they don't necessarily need, that they're going to have to look at it, cutting hours or doing retirement, early retirement for those pilots. Which means that if you're getting rid of pilots, you're going to have to get rid of extra staff that you don't necessarily need. If you're getting rid of the pilots and the staff, you're going to have extra planes that you don't need, that you're going to have to ground. So, and everything else that comes along with running that type of business. So, how does this relate to trucking? Well, it pretty much just shows you that anyone that's in transportation that is doing mail or doing business with the Postal Service right now is in jeopardy of losing that. You know, not saying that that's um, a bad thing for the United States Postal Service because they're trying to save money because they had been losing, from what they said, for about 13 years. They had been losing money, you know, in the billions of dollars. And so this is a great move for them and for anyone who decides to work for the Postal Service because they're going to expand. This is job security. before anyone who was running air freight with them, you are at risk. So you want to be looking at that. Anyone who was doing ground transportation, so whether you had a semi truck, whether you had a box truck, or whether you had, um, a cargo van, all of you guys are in jeopardy of losing that portion, if not all, uh, a portion of your business with United States Postal Service, because they're going to start doing everything in house. So you guys need to pretty much take stock and start making changes right now. Trying to figure out what do we do right now, going forward, because it's no secret to what they're doing. They've been saying several times in the news what they want to do and what they're trying to achieve, and that's what they're doing. Now, I also want to say that anytime something like this happens in the economy, or there are major changes with any type of transportation, in transportation, as a transportation provider, you got to be able to adapt to the market quickly, or else you'll be left behind. And I just wanted to say those few things and pretty much bring that story to light. It's still a developing story, so we'll get a chance to see how FedEx responds and how things work out for them, and to see what other air freight or air cargo carriers are going to maybe talked about next when it comes to this. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all for me. And please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and just tell us how you think of the video. What do you think of our channel? We try to bring a perspective to include everyone, and we want everyone to feel like this is a place that they can come and enjoy and learn something. Um, the video that I spoke about earlier about the United States Postal Service, we're going to leave a link in the description. So for anyone who wants to understand more about what I was just talking about, that video my co-host and I did in November, we're going to leave a link to that video in the description so that you can go back and watch it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening and have a good day. Thank you.